Western shore and the eastern shore. This is the northern western shore. Capernaum and the region of Capernaum. Gennesaret is the name that was given for the lake because it was a location in this area. Magdala was right there. Tiberias is the city that was established in the year 20 after Jesus Christ by Herod Antipas. I wanted you to see this and to understand something about the location of the place and to know one important thing. The church that you're going to see commemorates the miracle of the multiplication of fish and loaves. All of us have heard about this miracle. But do you know that there has been two miracles where Jesus feeded 5,000 people here and 4,000 people on the other side? According to Mark and Matthew, this is the passage of the first miracle. And according to Mark and Matthew, this would be the second miracle. The location was right there where the pagan used to live. We call them the Decapolis. Decapolis is part of the 10 cities, the 10 pagan cities that were under Roman control, under direct Roman control. Let me finish. So, if you read the first passage, at the end, you know that Jesus gave food out of 5 loaves and 2 fish for 5,000 people. And the remaining food was gathered in 12 baskets. Why 12?
Tribes.
12 tribes. Let's go back to the origin of the story. The 12 tribes of Israel. But if you read from Mark 8, from 1 to 10, we can read them later. It tells you at the end, after Jesus had fed 4,000 people who were gathering around and listening to him, the remaining food was gathered in 7 baskets. And if you go back to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, it gives you the 7 nations who were kicked out of the country when the Israelites conquered the land. So Jesus, with his teachings, he is making peace with his people, the Jews, and with the pagans. He came to unify everybody. So the gospel is meant for every kind of nation. So around the Sea of Galilee, remember, we have the calling of the first apostles, the Sermon on the Mountain, something that will live soon. The miracle of the multiplication here, Jesus walking on the water, and so on, so on. Many events and miracles took place around the Sea of Galilee. And this is the place that we call Tabgha.
Tabgha.
It comes from Pagan, the Greek word which means the 7 spring. And in Arabic, they call it Tabgha because the Arabs cannot pronounce the letter P. They pronounce it B. Tabgha. And that's why it came Tabgha. Because if you look up in the dictionary, you will never find the meaning for Tabgha. It's a derivation from Pagan, which means the 7 springs. And it came Tabgha. Okay? Now, soon, we'll get inside and have a look on the mosaic floor of the church. Listen carefully. The mosaic floor dates back to the year 480. Very old. After Jesus Christ. All churches were after Jesus Christ. What happened is that in the year 350, someone who was called Joseph of Tiberias built the first church, destroyed by an earthquake in the year 420. In the year 480, they built another church with mosaics. When the Persians destroyed the church in 614, only in 1932, the Benedictines the German Catholic Benedictines built this church over, to their surprise, over the mosaic floor that dates back to the year 480. Almost 65% of the mosaic floor is original, that goes back to the year 480. You will walk on and you will see there are some different in colors. The color, which is yellowish and gray without colors, is modern, added to the original one that dates back to the year 400. Another church that we call the Church of the Primacy of Peter. I wanted to read the gospel that is related to the other church, and on the way we'll be reading it. It is one of the nice passages of the Gospel of John. So according to the Gospel of John, chapter 21, afterward Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. It happened this way. Simon Peter, Thomas, was called Didymus, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and two other disciples were together. Please listen to me. I am going out to fish, Simon Peter told them, and they said, "We'll go with you." So they went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize that it was Jesus. He called out to them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" "No," they answered. He said, "Throw your net on the right side of the boat and you will find some." When they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the large number of fish. Then the disciples whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." As soon as Simon Peter heard him say, "It is the Lord," he wrapped his outer garment around him, for he had taken it off, and jumped into the water. The other disciples followed in the boat, towing the net full of fish, for they were not far from the shore, about 100 yards. When they landed, they saw a fire of burning coals with fish on it and some bread. Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish you have just caught." Simon Peter climbed aboard and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153. But even with so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, come and have breakfast." None of the disciples dared ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. Jesus came, took the bread and gave it to them, and did the same with the fish. This was now the third time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you truly love me more than these?"
Yes, Lord, he said, you know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my lambs. Again, Jesus said, Simon, son of John, do you truly love me? He answered, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said, take care of my sheep. The third time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, do you love me? He said, Lord, you know all things, you know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my sheep. I tell you the truth, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go. Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, follow me. So, this is one of the nicest passages for John chapter 21, that is related to the primacy, to the choice that Jesus gave to Peter as the one who will lead the church. So this church is called the Church of the Primacy of Peter, which is run by the Franciscans. I would like to show you the church, how it is built over a rock. This rock is called the Mensa Christi, the table of the Christ. Around the rock, which you find inside the church, Jesus shared with the disciples the meal of reconciliation. This meal that was mentioned in the Bible. He came to this area after his resurrection to talk to the disciples, to Peter, telling him, what are you doing? Don't forget what I have taught you. And he asked Peter 3 times if he loves him. And why 3 times? Because Peter denied him 3 times in Jerusalem. And despite the triple denial of Peter, Peter was chosen by Jesus to be the head of the church. So this is the primacy of Peter. We're going to see the Franciscan church, and maybe you can put your legs into the Sea of Galilee if you want. There is one of the places where we are close to the Sea of Galilee. So it's 10:20, it's 10